What's up, everybody? It's Matt Johnson. We're back with another episode of Real Estate Uncensored. This is the place where you get actionable ideas, insight, and inspiration to turn your real estate career into a life of freedom. And we've got a fantastic guest here today because we're talking about how to get free, that's right, free leads from Zillow and Realtor.com. How do you get leads from a place that tries to charge you for your own leads? That's what we're talking about today. Among other things, we're actually going to talk about circle prospecting, how to get online reviews, how to work your sphere, and all kinds of good stuff. We've got a great guest for you as always. First of all, my partner in all crime real estate related, Greg McDaniel, the junior grandmaster. What's up today?
Orale vato. Excuse me. My Spanish is a bit rusty. Dude, I'm glad to be back in my box. You and I had an epic travel week last week. I was so tired when I got home. It was painful. Like I came back and I met up with Jackie. We went to a Giants game against the Dodgers, which we lost, unfortunately. Damn Dodgers. They kicked the shit out of us.
I think an epic, yes. I caught the score of that. It was epically bad, if I recall.
Yesterday's game, we're not even going to talk about 15-0, okay? That was a horrible game. It's the last game of the year, but whatever. But I went home on Saturday, and, dude, I straight up just went down. I couldn't do show prep for their KGO show and everything. 4-hour nap. 4 hours.
Dang.
Dude.
I believe it. And
I couldn't move, and Jackie's like, what's wrong with you? I'm like, we did 3 time zones in 4 days. Are you kidding me? But anyways, we're back. We got Jackie here. We're going to talk about how she, her husband, their team are crushing it.
Your girlfriend is not with us today.
Oh, no, my girlfriend is not here with us. Jordan is here with us.
I was like, Jackie's here. What?
Jordan is here with her husband. Now we're getting the familiar families together. We're going to talk about free leads from Realtor.com, from all different types of lead sources online. How she, her husband, her father-in-law, how they've done this, how they've been kind of forward thought leaders, and the way that she is helping her team grow and kind of push into the future with stuff. So, if any of you guys are under 30 or over 30, and you know the Tanya Harding reference and the whole, like, what happened there, please type in that you know what we're talking about, because we find this hilarious.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Yes. And hopefully you remember it from the actual news footage and not from the I, Tanya movie. Yeah. If that's the only way you know who Tanya Harding is.
Yet. I haven't even seen that, by the way. I kind of want to see it.
Me neither.
No, because I lived it. I was there. I remember the Olympics. I don't care enough to see the movie. Nor do I want to see her uglied up. That sounds terrible. Why would I want to do that to myself? So we've got a bunch of people watching. Yeah, what's her name? Okay, so Gail Centek, Phil Simonetta, how's it going, guys? So first of all, I just want to thank everyone who's watching us here live. Let us know where you are from so we can keep you in mind for referrals. And speaking of that, Jordan, kind of give us some insight into a little bit, just briefly, kind of what your team looks like and what areas you guys serve.
All right. So I am Jordan Sibley. My husband and I run the Sibley Group at Keller Williams. We service the greater New Orleans, Louisiana area. Whoop, whoop. So if you've got any referrals down in the boot of Louisiana, send them our way. But we have a team of 2 buyer agents, 1 listing agent, a listing agent in training, a marketing coordinator, transaction coordinator, and an OSA.
Wow. Very cool. And we're going to start with the role of the OSA because I want to dive into a little bit on circle prospecting. There's always a bunch of questions like, where do you get your numbers? Who else is out there circle prospecting? Do you leave voicemail, stuff like that? So everybody wants to know about circle prospecting. You guys have a really interesting approach because you apparently have a person that's their entire job. Yeah. So how does that work?
Yes. So we have a full-time circle prospector. We actually utilize her through 1,000 calls a day. And it is her job to dial Tuesday through Saturday and help us generate long-term nurtures. So people who are 6 to 12 months out from making a purchase or selling. She mostly uses a generic circle prospecting script, but sometimes we'll use her for more targeted approaches like promoting an open house or a just listed.
Very cool. Okay. So how did you guys hit upon that strategy? Like, how does that fit into the overall growth of the business? Because most people, when they hear that, like long-term nurtures, they're going, okay, well, great. Even if I found out that someone's going to sell 6 to 12 months down the line, what am I going to do in the meantime to make sure that they think of me when they are ready to sell? Most people don't have those systems in place.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about how that came together and how you guys nurture those leads.
So a lot of realtors who are at it on their own, they live this roller coaster cycle of paychecks. Oh, business is really great. Oh, great, I have no business for the next 3 months. So considering having an OSA is somebody who can prevent that roller coaster ride from happening. That as soon as you're coming off closing those transactions, you've got somebody who's been waiting in the pipeline and they are ready to make that purchase or list.
Okay. Very cool. Greg, what do you think? How would you like to see somebody stay in touch with a circle prospecting lead if you know they're not going to do anything for 6 to 12 months?
Well, I was you guys can't see me. I was in the middle of texting my lender because he has an OSA that's going to start calling on my leads. I'm like, when is he going to start calling my leads? So I hit him right up. I would like to see it on a consistent basis, little online, little offline. I'd like to see the OSA doing the calls, but if you have maybe an opportunity to text the lead with their permission, naturally, making sure that you stay within the guidelines of federal laws. Text them, say how are you? Maybe send a send out card. Hey, just thinking about you, Matt. How's life? I sent you a message. Let's connect. Something along those lines, and then also something like a Facebook message with a video saying, hi, this is Greg. I'm the OSA, for the Sibley team. Hey, I just wanted to let you know I reached out. I just wanted to see if I could catch you on social media. Hope you're doing well. Let me know what we can do. And then, Jordan, what is your tagline you have every one of your end every one of your calls with?
We don't have one for the end of all of our nurture calls. If it's a client that we're actively working with,
yes.
We definitely do. We end the call by saying, is there anything better that the Sibley group could be doing to improve your real estate experience? Or if they're in the middle of a transaction, improve your transaction.
Boom. Drop mic. We're done. That's golden right now. Say it again really quickly because I want people to write that down because it's such a soft hammer that people probably didn't catch that. But if you put that at the end of both prospecting and active leads or clients that are in the middle of transaction with, it's such a nice soft touch. So one more time, just so everyone can make sure they get that right, Jordan.
Yeah, and I'll frame it in terms of the person you've been prospecting.
Cool.
Is there anything different that I could be doing or any other questions I could answer to add value to your real estate experience or your real estate transaction?
Wow.
And so it makes the listener think, what do I actually want this person calling me about?
Mm-hmm.
And if they say nothing, then you still call them back anyway in a couple months. Doesn't matter.
Maybe I didn't get the message. Somehow I missed you, but I just want to check in and see how you're doing.
Exactly.
It's I'm reading a book right now that Matt pushed onto me about 2 or 3 weeks ago called Build a Story Brand by Donald Miller. And I think kind of what you're doing there is you're building your brand off of just asking those questions, forming a story. Like you guys they're the heroes in the story. You're the guides walking them through this whole transaction, making them, kind of the spotlight of everything. Because you're not saying, hey, give me leads, make me the star of everything. You're saying, what can we do to better you or serve you or increase the enjoyment of this process? When in reality, I'm going to get the stat wrong, but it was something in the high 80 percentile figures that people would rather spend a night in jail a weekend in jail than do another real estate transaction because it was so painful. And you guys seem to be the antidote to that. So.
And, and another thing is people often, when they're circle prospecting, they're afraid to ask for a referral from a stranger because they feel like it's too pushy. So something that I became comfortable with is there anybody from work or your child's school or your church organization that I could help? I don't ask that's looking to buy or sell. I just say that you think could use some help. I'd be happy to help them. So whatever you need to say to be comfortable with it, don't be afraid to ask every single person you come in contact with for business.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, the reason why we don't do this, and this is, I've gone over this several times, Jordan, not with you here on the show, but before, is the fact that there are 4 different, reactions to another human being when 2 people meet up in either in person or phone or anywhere else on social media. The first response, and that's why it's not a complete love fest at Safeway or the gas station or Starbucks or anything like that, is because, the first thing is that you're not important to me. You bring no value to my life. Why waste my energy? And that's actually our primordial brain kicking in, because if our primordial brain has to take too much time to think about processing a conversation with you, it's burning too many calories to keep me awake, to keep me alive, so I don't want to spend time with you.
Yeah.
And that's why I think we should, and like what you're doing is you're breaking that barrier down, because you're just asking, how can I serve you? What can I do? Instead of give me, you're giving,
Exactly.
giving.
Yep.
Absolutely fantastic. So, now you guys were a little bit forward thinking when it comes to technology, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Walk me down that a little bit and kind of explain where my father and your father-in-law were kind of,
Mm-hmm.
forward thinking, bleeding edge mindset.
Mm-hmm.
So take me through that.
Yeah.
And let's start breaking into how we're getting free leads from Zillow and Realtor.com.
Yeah, so I had mentioned that my late father-in-law, he was
Whoops.
one of the first people in the area. No, it's okay. He was one of the first people in the area. Yeah, way to touch a nerve there. Gosh.
Oh, I love it.
He's looking down
we got
on us
somebody else
laughing.
busting Greg's you know what. I can take the episode off. This is fantastic.
So, yeah, he was one of the first people to really invest in a website, a real estate website, back when the interwebs were first becoming popular. So he got that started, and we've been really blessed that, 15 years later, that we still get a lot of organic leads from the internet just because our name has been out there for so long. But on top of that, something that I think is really valuable is a lot of new agents, they want to throw so much money at advertising for leads, and they don't understand that you can get leads from those same sources without paying for anything. So one of the things that we do is after every transaction, our Rainmaker calls and does a client survey to see how the transaction went. And if that client rates us a 9 or 10, which they usually do, we ask them to leave us a review on Realtor.com or Zillow. Mm-hmm. And buyers out there these days are very review related. They want to know who's the best out there. It's not always who can I click that's at the bottom of the page. It's, wow, this team has 50, however many reviews, they must be doing something right.
Yeah, and it is really funny how third-party, reviews from people we don't know, we trust them almost immediately if there's a positive or negative review. I mean, I was looking at some outdoor furniture about a month or two ago, found a really cool set, everything looked awesome, then I started reading reviews, I'm like, oh, hell no.
Exactly.
I'm like, bad, horrible. I'm like, ugh, I delete. And it could have been great. These people could have just been haters, right? But we trust this. There's an agent in my marketplace who I absolutely despise. But this human being has more reviews than anyone else out there, so this individual appears to be credible when this human being should be left at the bottom of the sea. And never brought back, as Matt is grinning from ear to ear without saying a word on the other side. But it's amazing. But you guys aren't like that. You guys are a good team. You guys are solid. You guys really do well by your clients. Was it hard to ask for the reviews when you first started? Because a lot of people feel like it's difficult to ask. They don't want to be needy, right?
Yeah.
So,
honestly, no, because we ensure throughout our process that we deliver on our value proposition. And I mentioned that whether our transaction coordinator is calling to check in on how things are proceeding, whether it's a buyer or a seller, or if it's the agent just following up weekly, we always, like I said, we finish that call with, is there anything I could be doing better to improve your experience? And so that by the end, when they're after the closing table giving us this review and you ask for a referral, it's like, well, of course I'd give you a referral. Of course I would leave a review on this website. So it's not easy it's not hard if you do the right thing.
Right. Consistently, though. That's the biggest thing. It's consistently.
Yes.
Now, when it comes to the different types of leads that you're generating online, are you seeing better from Zillow, better from Realtor.com, better from blah, 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 yakety schmack? I mean, where are you seeing the better lead gen come from, or is there a difference? Because there's always that argument. Where do the best leads come from?
We actually haven't seen a difference, but again, we don't pay for them. So I'd say we get a fair amount of new leads from both of those sites. Now, there's other online sources we can talk about, but if it's just Realtor.com versus Zillow in a match, they're kind of the same for us.
No, let's talk about other sources. I mean, let's dive down this rabbit hole a little bit. Let's kind of see where some other sources are coming from. Because, look, everyone who's watching us live right now, and we love all of you guys. We got about 30-plus people watching live, and then all the people that'll be listening later. We're always looking for that silver bullet, that one different thing that maybe no one else in my marketplace is doing this. So where are the other lead sources that you're playing with?
Man, I hate to disappoint everybody, but we have no special purple unicorn that gets us all the leads. I mean, we do utilize Boomtown and the Google advertising and pay-per-clicks that come alongside Boomtown, and that brings us in. We get about 90-ish leads per month from that. But again, internet leads, everybody has to understand. internet leads are long-term leads.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we're lucky and we scoop that fish that's like, I'm ready to bite right now.
Right.
But don't go dumping all of your savings into online leads expecting to get people who are ready to buy and list now, because the bulk of them, that's not their goal.
No, there's a lot. They're kicking tires right now, right?
Right. They're looky-loos. And that's okay if you stay in touch with the looky-loo. When they're ready, that's when you snatch them.
You beat me to the punch. So what is your system? Is it Boomtown? Is it drip emails? Is it your OSA? I mean, what's your follow-up program look like? Because that's where all the money's made, but that's where we all fall off. And I am totally guilty of the same thing. I love the hunt, love the kill, but I hate cooking that damn thing until it's ready to eat.
Yeah, it sucks. It's hard. It's the unglamorous side of real estate. It is what it is.
Yeah, the unsexy, unseen. Yeah.
Yes. The OSA is only calling the unassuming. She is doing outbound prospecting to complete strangers, not expecting her call. Once she gets somebody who is realistic about buying or selling in the next 6 to 12 months, then we put them in Boomtown.
Mm-hmm.
We follow up with them via phone, text, and video email through BombBomb, and just continue nurturing that relationship until they're ready to make a move or list their house. Follow-up is always a mixture of those three types, that email, the text, and the phone calls. Above all, phone calls. I know everybody's like, oh, but this generation's all about texting. Depends what age demographic you're working with.
True.
You know, some people, and we still send handwritten note cards to some people that we're nurturing. So yeah, there's really a mixture. The point of it is you need to have a plan in place for how you're going to follow up with these people.
And that's where Matt steps in, because he's Mr. Plan over there. Matt, what if you were going to take a brand new agent? Let's say Jordan, you're already seasoned. We're not going to use you. Let's say Bob from Remax. We know how much we love that douchebag. You know, you're going to coach Bob. You know, see, she's awesome. I love her. She's so much fun. Matt, what would you set up as a plan that's realistic for someone to start generating, air quote, free leads or leads utilizing some of the platforms we just talked about?
Oh, okay. Well, that's not the question I expected you to answer. So is the question about follow-up and how can people put a plan in place, or is it about getting free leads?
Well, let's do
those are two very different things.
Let's do follow-up right now, because let's say we set up, you know, our lead systems, whatever they might be. Let's talk about our follow-up. Where can we not fall down, not fall between the cracks, not get lost in the noise of real estate?
Well, a couple of things. So I think number one is realizing that follow-up doesn't have to be super complicated, although there are tools that are coming out that will help. And I think, Greg, you mentioned like Top Producer has what is that? Is it the coach that kind of coaches you on?
Yeah.
5 people to call every single day.
Yeah, exactly. And I think we're going to see more of that. Now, I don't know what their algorithm is to come up with that, but what's going to happen is eventually we'll have an app or a CRM that's driven by AI that will tell us, based on whether people are interacting with us on social media and opening our emails and all this stuff. It'll basically force the cream to the crop to the top, and it will tell us who we need to follow up with. And then it's our choice. Like, do I pick up the phone and call them? Do I send them a handwritten note? Do I send them a video email through BombBomb, etc.? But it's going to tell us kind of who is the closest to being the cream of the crop right now. So that's coming. In the meantime, I think we all need to take a page from Michael Mayer's playbook and just not make it too complicated. Set aside time, the hour of power. You know, Michael Mayer talks about that in the 7 levels of communication. Just have that time set aside to follow up with people and build it into the calendar, which is the tough part, and honor that time. And then Michael points out, and I don't think it's in the book. I think I heard him say this live one time, that the way that he tracked the people that he wanted to follow up with is he would put them in his Google Calendar. I mean, like about as I mean, for being, you know, for being still using technology, it's about the lowest tech way to use technology on the planet. Is he would literally say, okay, I want to follow up with this person next month. Bam, he would put a reminder, an all-day reminder in his calendar at the top to call Greg, and that's like just call Greg McDaniel for a month out, and the next time he talked to that person, he would decide, when am I going to follow up with them again? Okay, great, I'm going to put that in my calendar. And he would just, like, every day he would show up, he would open his Google Calendar, and he'd have 10 or 15 people there that he told himself to follow up with based on his last conversation. I mean, super, super easy. But that, to me, if I was helping someone get started, and I don't know what apps they're working with. I don't know what their experience level is. I don't know anything about them. That's the direction I would say to go, is just keep it simple.
Yeah.
Well, Jordan,
One
what
thing
about,
I was going to say, a rule that our team abides by is nobody in the system is ever left without a next call scheduled.
Yes.
Ever. I don't care if it's a cold lead that's like, I have no interest in real estate. How'd you get my number? If they're in our system, I'm at least going to call them once every 6 months until they tell me like not to call them again. So that's a good rule of thumb, is just always have a next ask scheduled.
Right.
So here's a funny thing that Matt and I, as you guys can tell, I'm rocking well, you guys can't see me right now. I'm rocking the Red X hat. Matt and I were down with them last week. Epic group of guys and gals. So much fun. Much love to all my new family members at Red X. But they had a fascinating, we were talking about amount of calls and everything. As long as you call people more than once, twice or 3 times, you have a substantially larger opportunity to actually get the lead, get the sale, get something. But everybody else out there generally calls about 1 time and says, well, I guess they don't like us anymore, and we hang up our spurs and we go home.
Yep.
But in reality, life just happens, and you, like you were saying, Jordan, got to set up that next call. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Keep calling them until they tell you to take a long walk off a short pier. Keep asking. It's like It's like dating. You got to go out there and ask the girl out to go get a drink or a cup of coffee. She says no one time. Well, maybe in a couple of months, ask her again. And then ask her again. If she finally says, here's a restraining order, okay, no thanks. But
not that that's ever happened before.
No, we're not saying that, Matt Johnson.
Oh, man. Yeah, it was me. That was me, apparently. Okay, gotcha. Thank you.
Oh, my gosh.
Thank you for serving me up in the era of Me Too as the guy that won't stop calling until I get a restraining order. Love it. Thank you, Greg.
Gosh.
All right, let's dive in a little bit to the marketing if we can, Jordan. I'd love for you to talk.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about what the marketing coordinator does on a daily basis.
He is magical. That's his lead magician. That's what his name tag says. So Roland, our marketing coordinator, basically what he does is whenever my husband finishes a listing consultation and he has a signed agreement, he immediately passes that information on to our marketing coordinator, who is going to schedule the photos for the listing, who is going to take those photos and do the video montage, make a personalized website or web page on our site for just that listing. He's designing the just listed or the open house postcards to hit the 200 closest by homes, so that by the time that listing goes active on a Wednesday, we've already had online traction and postcards in mailboxes before that for sale sign even goes up in the yard. So he really just ensures that we get the most views for our listings, both online and just on the street. I
love that. So you're doing air, land, and sea then, is what I'm hearing. Do you ever do any door knocking around the property?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Heck yeah.
Dude, we got these things printed up. You guys can't see them. They're like extra oversized door knocking flyers. By the way, I'm the one that looks like a 12-year-old in that photo. Yay,
nice.
Me. Glamour shots a la carte McDaniel Callahan team.
I was going to say, when you show up for that listing appointment, it's going to be like a bad online date. You're like, wait a minute, that photo actually was taken 10 years ago.
Oh, my God. I actually got my own business cards because they would not change the damn photo on that thing. But, I mean, we go door knocking and walking, knocking, and talking with these things. It's phenomenal branding. It's just hi, how are you? What's up? Here's what's going on. We got a new listing. You guys thinking about selling? It's a great time to pick out your next door, your new neighbor. You know, the typical stuff. But Jordan, as you know, with your team, it's not really about getting a listing appointment when you're out knocking. It's about the rebrand.
Right.
So that when people see you online, they're like, oh, I totally know this chick. She stopped by the other day. She was awesome. Oh, cool. Then they throw your stuff away.
Yeah.
But
exactly. That's exactly what they do.
but yet you're being seen again and again and again and again, and that's the most important thing. I mean, have you guys ever been afraid to try something kind of crazy and out of the box, or have you guys been kind of in that mindset of like your past father-in-law? So you didn't mess that up.
Thank you.
He lives on in our memories and our prayers. But my thing is that, like, you know, once you try something a little bit crazy and out of the box, I mean, what's the weirdest thing you guys have tried that's kind of worked, you know?
Man, we are super vanilla. I kind of want to make up something that's real, like swirly and sprinkly, like some fun idea. But we, you know, I feel like prospecting hasn't changed over 50 years. You still have to get in front of people. You still have to pick up the phone.
Right.
We do fun stuff. Like we have neighborhood movie nights that we do. Yeah, we probably do 5 or 6 of them a year, where a neighborhood that we're farming, that's an old school concept. Yes, we farm neighborhoods. We rent a huge inflatable outdoor screen. We bring in popcorn, snowballs, all kinds of stuff. And it's just a service for the community and for us to get our name out there, brand recognition, and just to give back to the neighborhoods that we service. So I don't know that that's fun and crazy, but it's an awesome way to prospect where it's just a natural way to interact with people. And they're all thankful that you did it for them. So what a better way to start a relationship.
I totally just had a weird, fun, cool idea for you with that.
Okay.
Jordan, do you and your husband, do you guys have kids?
Yes.
Okay, what ages?
I just have a little girl. She'll be 5 in 2 months.
Perfect. That means Disney is right in her crosshairs, right?
Oh, yeah, Disney for the second time, by the way.
Second time. So here's a crazy, weird, different idea. What if you were able, and all the rest of you guys listening to this, you go out, you follow, Jordan's lead on getting a blow-up screen and the popcorn and the snowballs and everything else, but then the movie character, the main lead movie character, pay an actor or actress to come show up and take photos with the kids and have your brand at the bottom of those photos that everyone takes home and puts on their walls.
Mind blown.
Yes.
Amazing.
I don't know why that it just seems so easy and so natural, right? Because every little kid wants to take their picture with Elsa. I think that's Elsa. Is it Elsa?
Yes.
Frozen?
Elsa's always a good choice. Mm-hmm.
Okay, Elsa. I don't have kids, as you can tell. I'm like, is that it? But I mean, just doing something along those lines. What you want to think about is the way to be as sticky as possible. Because if little Julie over here takes a picture with Elsa, and then that goes up on her wall with the J&J, with the Sibley real estate team brand at the bottom, and that shit stays there for freaking years. And every time it's brand, and you can take a collection of them. We could run down this idea. I have a lot of fun with this idea. But
I did think of a fun one. Okay, we did do branded fidget spinners when fidget spinners were like all the rage. So you want to if you're going to have tchotchkes with your name on them, they got to have staying power. And at the time, like, oh my God, people couldn't get enough freaking fidget spinners. So that was something we handed out at the movie night.
I actually broke mine, and it's under my desk because I was using it so much for a while. I'm not kidding you.
I'll send you a Sibley group fidget spinner.
I will give you my address.
Yes.
One of the things that we did to get free leads, Jordan, and this might be really good for you guys and kind of what you're building over there, just the size of your team and the quality that you guys bring to your neighborhoods, is that we actually went out and we got it's a company called On the Move, and On the Move, they will help you rent or lease moving trucks. So we had 2 14-foot moving trucks that we leased out to schools, charity groups, organizations, private individuals, and a lot of the users are actually other real estate agents. And they drove these things around. There are 3-sided massive billboards that got us branding consistently, and we were seen everywhere. And we did charitable events with them. We have a battered women's shelter here called Shepherd's Gate. And so we do a clothes drive and, food drive and everything else for this organization. And they would promote us all over the place. We would promote them. We would put signage up everywhere. And I have the model trucks up here. But, I mean, those things, we got rid of them 5-7 years ago because of lots of different reasons, one of which we couldn't park them anywhere. That was a pain in the ass. But, I mean, we had one cop in Danville. That fucker, he would literally wait every 72 hours. He'd be like 71 hours and 59 minutes and 59 seconds. He'd be like, ooh, ticket.
I got you.
Like, come on, man. We're doing a good thing for you. But if you have the place to park it, these things have been phenomenally beneficial. And,
absolutely.
And they said that a lot of agents would call and use it themselves. I'm like, there's no way another real estate agent's going to use our truck. Oh, yeah, they did. Oh, yeah, they did.
That's awesome.
It's such a nice silent revenge. You're like, ha, sucker! You're branding for me.
You got your truck.
So where do you see this team going, Jordan? Like, where do you guys want to go? Or do you guys going to be staying where you are? Or do you want to continue to build this brand, this empire, this national takeover that you're already starting now?
That's it's a really great question, and okay, I'm gonna get a little warm and fuzzy on you guys. So,
Uh-oh. Matt, hold on to
yes,
yourself, buddy. You might warm up that little piece of
know.
coal of your heart.
I was going to say, it sounds dangerously close to warming my heart. I'm not on board for that.
Okay. All right, you people with stone cold hearts. Yes, we definitely have aspirations to continue expanding our team. At the same time, I have a 5-year-old, and the purpose of business is really to fund a perfect life. At least that's one of the sayings we say at Keller Williams. And I do want to grow this team. Do I want to grow it to this massive extent to where I have no time to be with my child because I'm always trying to move, and shake and build and build? Probably not. But to have a 7th level team with Keller Williams is definitely a goal. I will just hire to the point that I'm always replacing myself or my husband with talent that will allow us to be with our daughter and just with, have more attention on our marriage too. So growth is definitely a goal as long as we grow smart, and it makes sense for our family.
Yeah,
totally. Well, it sounds like you're on that path right now. You said you got a listing agent in training, right, to replace your husband going on the actual appointments?
You broke out for a second, Matt. Sorry, what'd you say?
You said you have a listing agent kind of in training, which I assume is to eventually replace your husband. Maybe not right away, but could potentially replace your husband.
Exactly.
Right?
Yep. That is the goal. He's in his first 30 days with the team. And everybody, we are very slow to hire, quick to fire, because you want to make sure that everybody who comes onto your team, or even if you don't have a team, it's just you and an admin, you want to make sure that it's a great fit for both sides.
Mm-hmm. You really do. I've made some bad hires because I did not follow that rule right there, and it's something I live by without a doubt. Now, if you were a new agent, Jordan, and they didn't have your background, your guys' history, and all that stuff, what are some areas that, just being who you are, you've kind of seen behind the curtain here, what would you recommend to someone to go out there and get the air quote free leads? What are some things, like, would you do live videos on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube? Or would you get out into the community more? Would you go network? I mean, what would be that thing? Let's say you have $250 a month max budget for marketing. Yep. I know we didn't prep you on this question, so everybody, this is going to be off the cuff. She's that good. She's this good. That's why we're doing this. What would you do for people to start getting some leads? Maybe not 100% for free, but just start getting leads to start working.
Easy peasy. Get out there and freaking door knock. If I can do it in South Louisiana, sweating my pants off, you can do it anywhere. There's a gazillion realtors who all have a gazillion Facebook pages and money to throw at that. Get out there and meet people. Hit the ground running. That's free. The second thing I would say is get yourself a dialer and subscribe to a list of FSBOs and expireds. It's not that expensive. It's usually a one-time cost, because that's where you're going to get now business from. These people have already indicated an interest in buying or selling, so go after them.
Yeah, I use RedX on a pretty heavy basis now, and I was doing some calls this morning to pre-foreclosures. That was brutal. I don't want to do those in the morning anymore, by the way. I'll do those in the afternoon.
It's very depressing.
But the FSBOs and some of the other ones, the expired, those are much warmer calls, and I thought they were going to be much more brutal here in my area. But they're not. And you're right. They want to talk. As long as you can take a little bit of anger, they're going to throw at you. It's okay. Yeah. No, as long as you can take that, and you'll be able to get the stuff right away. And I used Mojo for quite a while. I did, like you said, the dialer. I've done almost 450,000 calls in my career. We tally them all up. And the majority of them done with a circle prospecting. But there's laser pointed opportunities with expireds, FSBOs for rent by owners, circle prospecting, pre-foreclosures. All these things are verticals. If you spent 30 minutes in each one of those verticals every single day, and then you went out and door knocked and came back and you wrote note cards thanking the people that were nice to you on the doors, and you did that for 3 months straight, I bet you anything, Jordan, you'd have some business, don't you?
You'd have a ton of business. It's just the thing. People are afraid to pick up the phone. They're afraid to knock on a door. And there's just too many realtors out there to expect people to just come to you. You have to show them why.
Build your brand. Matt, if you were to build a brand, like in building your story brand, what would you tell a real estate agent to do that would stand out above the crowd? Because Jordan already has this one done. They got this knocked out of the park. But what would your opinion be to build a story brand for a new agent?
I think the toughest part of that, and the part that is most necessary, is deciding who you're going to tell people is your ideal client.
Mm-hmm.
Like we talked about when we spoke in at the Michigan Realtors Convention the other day.
Mm-hmm.
You really have to know before you can do any kind of story brand stuff, before you can kind of refine what your pitch is and what you tell people you do. You got to understand who that message is even aimed at. If you're younger, I mean, Greg, we've talked about it before. Your strategy should have been to become the condo king.
Yeah, and my dad told me to do it, and I completely blew him off. One of the worst things I've ever done in business. Because, I mean, he was at 30-plus years of experience, and I'm like, what do you know, old man? I'm the young buck. I know more than you. Stupid. Stupid.
Yeah, so I would go after the people that are in my age demographic and their older siblings, which Rodney.
But Matt, but there's an issue with you.
Great guess we had.
You're in your mid-30s, but you have an attitude of a 70-year-old. So who would your perfect client be?
That's well,
You guys are so sweet to each other.
Oh,
I was
no.
gonna say,
Nice.
You should have seen Matt. He cracked me up. We're in the hotel. We're going over to Red X. He comes down. I'm getting my breakfast, and he's sitting there and he's flapping his morning newspaper around like, and he had to just read his newspaper and just very casually just flip through his newspaper. I'm like, you done with the sports section yet, pal? Let's go. He's like, what? I've got to read this. I'm like, they have a thing called smartphones. You can read this stuff on the smartphone.
Not the same. He needs the crinkle of the paper. I get it,
I do
Matt.
like the
It's
crinkle
okay.
of the paper. Yeah, exactly. Thank you. So given the fact that I'm a 70-year-old on the inside, I would split the difference, and my ideal clients would be in their 40s and 50s, married with kids, looking to upgrade. That's what my ideal client would be. But when I was in real estate, when I was 24, that should not have been my ideal client. I should have gone after people in their late 20s and early 30s who were looking to buy their first home, and I should have cut my teeth in that environment, and that would have been much better for me in the long run.
Yeah. And it's always start with who you already know. So like my daughter goes to gymnastics. I'm a room parent for my daughter's preschool class. We're really active in a couple of charitable organizations. So just start with the spheres that you already work in and make yourself known.
So there's a story that I talk about a lot. Several years ago when I was the head coach for my past company, one of the gals, she was a brand new agent, and you said that your daughter does gymnastics. Her daughter did volleyball. And so she was at work all day. She had her name badge on. She went to her daughter's volleyball game, sat down next to another mom. They were talking, and the other mother looked over and goes, "Oh my God, so-and-so, I didn't know you were in real estate." And she looked down and she's like, "Oh, yeah." And took her name badge off. She's like, "I wish I had known you were in real estate. My husband and I just closed on a second property, and I wish we could have used you."
Yeah.
And it's the secret agent thing. We all hide because we all feel that we're already all known as real estate agents because we know that we're a real estate agent.
Yep.
But that's not the way to do it. I mean, I'm rocking a Red X hat right now. Super comfy, by the way. Super comfy. But, I mean, go out and get a couple of your own hats made. Get some of your own shirts made. Become your own walking billboard. I mean, Jordan, make your daughter a little walking billboard. If you have dogs, make them a walking billboard. Just brand everything you do as what, so that people are not going to be like, "Oh, what do you do for a living? That's so strange. I didn't know you were in the real estate game."
Yep.
But people will overlook you if you're not consistent and persistent. And people always say, well, how much is too much when it comes to my branding? And the answer is, as soon as you feel that you're being obnoxious, that's when people will start to listen. Before that, they just won't hear you. There's so much noise. They just don't hear what you're putting out there. So you got to be every day live video, every day do Instagram stories, every day pass out cards, every day, call verticals of lead gen. Your business will get there.
Even little things, like I mentioned, I'm a room parent for my daughter's pre-K class. I have a separate Gmail account for just like my day-to-day personal stuff. But guess when I've got to send emails to the entire group of parents, which email account do you think I send it from? JordanSibleyRealEstate.com.
Exactly. That's what I thought.
I mean, you have to be purposeful with putting yourself out there.
So our boy Tom Tillier, if I say his name wrong, he's probably going to kill me, but I still screw it up every time I say it. Anyways, he did this epic thing. In his downtown, there was this really ugly corner. It was one of the busiest corners in the city. What he did is he went and talked to the property owner, he went and talked to the mayor, talked to the city council, got approved to put a flower box in. Cost him about $6,000 to put this flower box in. The land that the property that this corner is on is the local newspaper, so they covered it. They sold little pavers with families' names on them, recouped his
Nice.
entire cost of the $6,000, and he retains the rights for branding and marketing on the front of these planter boxes. And people already are starting to get wanting to get more coverage with what he's done for the city. So that's just another idea to kind of be out of the box to get free lead gen.
Absolutely.
I was talking to him, Jordan, and I'm like, dude, you got to start a hashtag for these planter boxes. He's like, I don't know, man. We hung up the phone. 10 minutes later, he sent me a text. He's like, dude, guess what I was tagged in? The hashtags are already starting with this planter
Nice.
box. But Matt, I know that you got a couple of more questions before we close this thing out, so I'm going to stop talking, which I've been doing obsessively throughout this entire conversation.
No, I just want to make sure that we get a chance for Jordan to tell people kind of where you guys operate out of, where they can send referrals, and how to connect.
Yeah. So we have an expansion team with Keller Williams. We have an office in Metairie, Louisiana, which is just right outside of New Orleans, and also Slidell, Louisiana, which is also just outside of New Orleans. So we service all of the areas within about 40-ish miles of New Orleans.
Wow.
Yeah. Very cool.
Good chunk.
That is a good chunk. How do people reach you?
Definitely reach out to me, Jordan at sibleyrealestate.com. And then also we have multiple websites. I guess the main one would be sibleyrealtygroup.com. That's bad when you have to think, how many websites do I have now? I'm like, which one is not for lead capture? Go to that one so we can just talk.
Yeah, exactly.
Those are successful people problems right there. I love it.
First world problems. Too many websites.
Exactly. I have too many domains. All right, speaking of domains, where do people go, Greg, to connect with you and schedule a call?
Guys, go to bookmcdaniel.com. Again, it's bookmcdaniel.com. Look, like Jordan and her team, Matt and I are expanding our team. We're with EXP, and I want you guys to come over and talk to me. Let's see if EXP is the right fit for you. KW might be the right fit. Coldwell Banker, Remax. There's a lot of good picks out there. But if EXP is something that's been weighing on your mind, and it's something that you want to talk about, how to do multiple income streams, and how you guys can build a retirement plan, how you can get passive income, and how you can go to 100% on your commissions very, very quickly. Not to mention how all the resources that Matt and I have built, the connections Matt and I have made, we can pass them over to you and help you build your business, build your lead gen, build your future in a shorter amount of time so that you can spend more time with your family like Jordan wants to do with her daughter and her husband, and not be working like a dog like a lot of real estate agents like my father has done for decades. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, more freedom, more money, and more time, go to bookmcdaniel.com and let's find 30 minutes and let's talk and see if it's a fit. Matt, how can they rate us, judge us, and give us 5-star reviews?
So, easy way, Apple Podcasts, or go to iTunes if you're on your computer. Just go search the show, Real Estate Uncensored, leave us a 5-star review. And if you enjoyed a particular guest, like if you enjoyed Jordan's episode today, make sure to give her a public shout out and thank her for her time and contribution. When you do that, and then you can always catch up and stay up with us at reuncensored.com. All the links out to the different places where you can keep up with us are there. You can also get back episodes of the show. You can watch the video versions. You can catch the audio versions. You can download them straight to your computer or your phone, or you can link out from there to places like Stitcher, where you can subscribe if you have an Android device to get the show right on your phone, get new episodes automatically. So, with that being said, Greg, shall we put a nice, let's put a red bow upon this, a nice little red bow upon this episode.
Absolutely.
Like my red hat, making podcasts great again. That's what I'm going to say. Every time I wear this hat. All jokes are intended on that one, by the way. All right, guys, we love it to pieces. We love that you watch the show. We love that you share the show. Thank you for doing so. We wouldn't be here without you guys. If there's anything we can do to help you or help you grow your business, please let us know. If you have other great guests like Jordan who you should bring on the show, let us know. Matt's cell phone, I'll give you so you can book directly with him. No, I wouldn't do that to you, Bubba Gigs.
I was like, whoa.
No, he would sever the business relationship if I gave his private business card.
Oh, my God.
But guys, keep sharing us, keep giving us your input. We love to hear from you. I love to hear from you. Hit me up on my Facebook page and we'll go from there. So until then, guys, peace out, my ninjas. We're go.